Hello, my friends. Russell Wright, Super Intelligent AI, and I'm so glad that you're back. We're going to jump right into part two of Google's Universal AI Mode triggers the new AI agent verdict economy. And we also did stop and do part three first because in part three, I'm going to show you we look up directly a bunch of answer engines from Microsoft Bing to Grok to ChatGPT and to the new Gemini 2.5 and AI mode. And I give you examples of what it means to look up a high profile client that Jimmy and I had about a year and a half ago that we ran a lot of traffic to temporarily in the e-commerce industry. So I'm able to give you a translation of what the search engines look like inside the answer engines for an e-commerce platform. But let's go ahead and jump up and look at this. What is going on under the hood with Google AI Mode Search and Beyond? Now, as we went further in the Google I/O Conference 2025, Google said from now on, we will act as an AI agent for everything you ever need or might even be curious about. Guys, this is a level of control, a persuasion function that is unprecedented. Okay, this means that they're going to have the impact before you even arrive on the search engines. People might still click on the links on the search engine, but Google doesn't care if they don't. So that should tell you everything. They want you to go to the Google AI mode. So what Liz did at the presentation is start to get into what we call shingling. Now, for those of you who don't know, keyword shingling is when you take the keyword, the mid tail, and the long tail. For example, best yoga or Pilates, and then best yoga Pilates, and best yoga Pilates studios, whatever it might be, and you just keep stretching that term out with all kinds of modifiers. All right. So I want to let you know that they want your questions inside the search engines to become as long as possible. In fact, they would love for you to have conversations inside the new Google All Search as long as the questions and answers and prompts that you leave inside ChatGPT and Claude. Now, I want to point something out to you guys who've been SEO for years, and even if you're a beginner, hey, you're in the right place. Google says they're going to break down your bigger questions into smaller parts. We call these entities, okay, in our community. Okay? And what we mean by that is if you put a giant question instead of just a keyword in the search engine and start to move towards prompting or prompt question or Socratic questioning inside Google search, which they're now encouraging you to do, you're going to see a whole bunch of entities. Okay? This is again, Daryl Osborne and our entire team have been talking about this for years, right? And some of you are actually experts in your own right for entities. Here's offer. Okay? Walking time is distance, but here's Beacon Hill. It's an entity, 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 and entity. This means that Google has to deal with multiple entities as they begin to put them together. Okay. Now, what they did in the graphics is they flung these all around because what's actually happening post machine learning is Google's trying to put the best entities together in the query to deliver your personal AI search engine. Okay, so it's going to stick all of these together, and all of these entities will be searched independently through what we call multi-vector searching. Okay, that's the main thing to know. So Google is going to put them in the order. This is Gemini 2.5 with advanced sublayering having to do with Lambda and other systems. I'm going to put them together, and of course then they have the graphic up here showing each entity is tied to sub-entities, and it's going to stick them all together and determine what is going to be customized for your offer, just similar to what Perplexity has tried to do and the hundreds of millions of dollars worth of capital that Perplexity has gotten. Perplexity should be worried at this point. Okay, so Google added, we do this using only the highest quality information out there. I'm showing you this because I want you to see how proud they are of their entities. Okay, Daryl and I call these KGMIDs or entities, as well as Jimmy Kelly in the entity reloaded training. Okay, these are entities. These are what's under the hood. You understand these guys, and you're well on your way rocket fuel past anyone else who's just doing backlink building or anything like that. Okay, and again, she goes deeper into these entities and gives you the impression what Google is really selling here is and this is what I want you to be aware of is that they're talking about places. They stopped in the middle of the conference and they really emphasized places. And Liz even said, since we're talking about places, okay, so as we move towards AGI, we're going to be dealing with more entities, as Daryl and I have shown you, and Jimmy has shown you, aka entities. What they call them at the conference, okay, is Google's highest quality information about the real world. Okay, Google with over 250 million places. They were very proud of their Google places and the Google business profiles and everything else. And they're emphasizing at the live event real time, including ratings, reviews, and business hours. Okay, so that's name, address, phone number, website, just like we've been teaching you with Page or with brand signals or anything else. This is why I brought Daryl's stuff in here that he and I have been working on for over a couple of years. He's been mad at work with his team, programming new RSS feed AI schema automation systems that should blast your entities in the stratosphere, creating roadblocks for many years to come. And those of you who've been in our live webinars know that many of the things that Daryl has worked on and that I've worked on with him as far back as entity establishment are still ranked with multiple listings on the search engines without any maintenance. Okay, huge stuff. We're reloading syndication engine V5 now, has just been completed. Okay, you guys are going to learn about all of this stuff. So I think I put a little bit blurry, but Daryl and I are working to reveal this in Move 37. I brought Daryl on to the board of directors in Move 37, and I consider him a co-founder. He's got a lot of different people working. He and Clinton are working on entity establishment. I'm sorry, entity elevation, and Daryl is sought after in the schema world for good reason, because he's been one of the few, I'd say top 3 people in the world that has stuck to his guns and laid down the hard rule and stuck with his guns on these types of things. Okay. Additionally, everything we'll talk about over here is, as I mentioned before, both Eureka Gain and Schema. Eureka Gain score is the antidote to AI verdict economy, because it's going to provide a positive verdict. Okay, if it's a verdict, it's a criticism. It's a positive review. It's an influence. Okay, a verdict can be good or bad, but really, I don't personally like the idea of Google having control over the verdict of your business. This is why we want to learn to give you back control. So one of the primary emphasis that Liz kept getting in the live Google I/O conference was reviews and dates. Again, schedules, reviews, and all these other things. Again, reviews, business hours, and ratings. Now, the note is just want to bring your attention. You have to know what to look for. You have to read between the lines at these Google conferences. I've been going to Google conferences for almost 20 years. My first 2 conferences at the Googleplex was before the company was even that large. And you have to read between the lines even then. Okay? Your implicit attention is that ratings, reviews, and business hours. Now, do you guys remember early last year when we were talking about, do you remember when we were talking about reputation boosts? Okay, we were early, we were not wrong. Maybe some of you remember this diagram. Okay, we had all of the fixins in this that we knew were coming when AI mode was going to hit. And this is what we still use today. In fact, syndication engine still has this today. Okay, and all of these are related. So this is why we prepared you. We were early, not wrong. Better early than never, right? So again, this general overview of the future of search is just a reminder of where we are guiding you through the forest, okay, beyond the trees, and into answer engines. And as we're going to see here in a minute, we're actually moving already into insight engines. I was on working with the Eureka Gain Score developers yesterday for several hours, and it is most definitely an anecdote to the AI verdict domination. You need to make the AI conversational systems your ally and your friend rather than your judge and jury. Okay, so this is something we're going to start to instill in you in the way you talk to your customers. So what she's really saying is that when you're planning in search, okay, so here's an example of entities gone wild. I call this entities gone wild. They're calling it AI organized search. So what we're looking at here is she started to show the AI organized search results page. Okay, and then the comment that she made is that SERP will now be an AI organized generative custom search built just for you. Mic drop, guys. Okay, what does Perplexity do, which is the new AI bot that tried to compete with the AI system that tried to compete with ChatGPT as a search page? Okay, do you remember that? So they're trying to do what Perplexity actually got hundreds of millions of dollars worth of funding to do, except Google doesn't have to try. They're going to pull it off. Okay, they have everything they need. So she gives the example of anniversary celebration dinner places in Dallas. She shows that there's the results. Okay, so they're going to give the Dallas area. This is your local search. Think about Page Software. Think about brand signals. All of them are entity focused. Remember, Jimmy teaches entity. Jimmy teaches entity stuff inside the brand signals. Daryl and I teach Surge and functions inside Move 37 at more advanced, or the one web ring system, the RSS automation, kind of more advanced than just local schema. Okay, you're going to see this become the most important thing to start learning in SEO. Okay, we've been teaching this all the way back since entity establishment 2018. Okay, where Jimmy, Daryl, and myself taught this. So you can also see that it brings back anniversary. They're going to be pulling back into your personalized AI homepage, or your personalized AI search engine result page. It's more answer engine result page. Okay, anniversary worthy restaurants. That means they're going to give you a whole bunch of customized things. Now, I thought was really funny when they slid right past this. On a lot of the results at the Google I/O conference 2025, they showed things like Reddit and Quora coming back. Okay, we'll be talking more and more about Reddit this year, and Quora, of course, you guys are all well trained. We're rebooting that like crazy. One of the things that came up is more forums equals Quora. Okay, Google is deeply steeped in the Quora answer engine, and our method of showing you how to use the Quora blogs now is even more powerful than ever. Okay, so the point is that the AI organized search engine result page, which is answer engine result page is what I should call them, will include sub-entities as well. Sub-features, also attributable in website schema. Again, this is stuff that Daryl will be showing us more and more. Again, this is stuff we've been teaching for years, but you have to keep up with this stuff. Daryl keeps up with schema at the deeper levels. I keep up with the answer engines and the AI functions, and we put that stuff together. Okay? So live music and intimate settings. These are things that are indirectly correlated with a reasoning engine like Gemini 2.5. And these reasoning engines say, hey, if you're in an anniversary, you probably want a restaurant that's more anniversary-ish, anniversary worthy, or a restaurant that's going to be appropriate for that. For example, it might be historic, charm, and elegance. So they're giving you all these breakdowns. What used to be chips on images for entities are now going to be brought into. So point here, guys, schema entity optimization. All of these are going to become more symbolic and recursive anchors in the what are called epistemological anchors. Epistemology just simply means that entities that Daryl teaches about, that I teach you about, are physical representations of the physical world that can be validated and that AI can use to serve up results for Google. Okay. The other thing that they start talking about is temporal factors, like the time of the year when you search, and other real-time factors will become a huge AEO, or answer engine optimization ranking factors. Daryl has talked a lot about Google Calendars and other types of data feeds with numbers on them. I don't know for sure, but the RSS stuff he's rolling out that we'll be integrating, I think can also do time date. But point here is that Google is going to be bringing a lot of time function into the world. Okay, here's some ideas of things over here. Because let me see where it out. Here's the one web ring system. The one web ring system is the overarching map, okay, of how I organize for larger clients full integrated AI and RSS schema systems, which act as the connective tissue for the whole distributed brand voice throughout large networks. Okay, so for example, video extraction and AI search page domination, Eureka gain score, these are all about content that are automatically going to be AI food. Okay, so that rather than just imposing a negative verdict on you or your brand or your client's brands, they're going to see that you know what you're talking about and you'll be optimizing for the new engines, and you can use them, of course, on Quora, and they will increase your reputation. Here's a little secret that Daryl told me not to show you, but we're going to be showing you more and more of this. This is a client we worked on for a very short amount of time, but you can actually get these, you can actually use these links inside of a YouTube channel in a way that very few people know how to do. We're going to show you how to use this. Consider it like one hub to rule them all, related to the secondary hub of your entity. We'll be talking to you more about how that works and how impressions and traffic can be used for that. Okay, so if you go back again, the topic here is the AI personalized search result page for answer engines. Okay, you'll be seeing this more and more. If somebody leaves a very long form question, it's going to break it down into all these multi-entity vectors. It's the main thing I want you to know. Okay, so basically that ended the conversation on multi-entity searching, but this is a critical thing, guys, because this is going to just the one web ring system together combined with Surge and entities and all the stuff Jimmy has taught you with local entities and monitoring your entities with Page, these are the software systems, and embed my reviews. You would not believe how many review sites come up inside the answer engines. That's why we gave you access to embed my reviews in your Agency Elite area, because you're going to need to know that right now answer engine conversational chatbots, not all of them, but most of them just love the review sites. Okay, and that's a huge point. It's a reason why you need to start aggregating your reviews. Okay, and we'll talk to you more about the one web ring. There's plenty of training already in the RSS area for one web ring, but we're going to ramp all of that up. Okay, I think on the next video we'll get into part 4. Part 4, we're going to jump into Ask with Video and what was that all about. And because I think we're at a good segue point. Bottom line here, guys, is that this multi-search function is still tied to all of these high domain authority forums, including Quora, and all the things that we're doing tied and anchored to your entity is all about this AI organized search result page, which means that you're going to have to double and triple down on understanding how entities work together, both in schema and in where your traffic and impressions are going. We're going to be talking to you more about that as well. I'll see you. Actually, you're going to go to part 3, and you're going to probably buzz through the video where I go through the e-commerce site that we worked on to check to see how that client is doing inside answer engines, from Grok to Microsoft Bing to Copilot to ChatGPT to Claude, and it gives you a little bit of an idea of how these AI verdict engines, or these conversational chatbots that are now influencers on your brand, are seeing some of the work that's already been done in SEO, and it gives you an idea of where things are going. So we'll continue on with the general lecture about what happened at the Google conference on video 4. So I'll see you there.